You're tuned to the Witching Hours on CKCU 93.1 FM in Ottawa. It is me, your host, Kanaska Carter, every single late night on a Monday or early Tuesday morning from 2 until 7 Eastern Standard Time, talking about topics anything from the paranormal to extraterrestrial life and the afterlife. Tonight on the Witching Hours, I'm speaking to one of the members of the metal band Gland. So, what name do you like to go by again?
My friends like to call me Sugar.
Sugar. Okay.
Picked that up at Rockfest.
Okay. Is there any sort of story behind the name?
Yeah, we were camping. Second time I went was a couple years ago, and I met a bunch of new people. Ended up getting very drunk the first night, and a couple of nice young women there calling me honey this, honey that, and I don't like honey, so I said, I don't like honey, call me Sugar. And one of my friends just determined on making that stick, so.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
It suits you for sure. So you're the bass player of the band.
I am, yes.
Okay, so I met you while I was out drinking at the Dom the other night and just decided to get you on the show, so thanks for doing this last minute. So could you tell our listeners how you all met?
Well, me and Zach, the vocalist of Gland, we go back all the way to high school, elementary school, I guess, as well, but we became friends in high school. Me and him always jammed together with a couple of other buddies, and he had already started his band Domination in high school, so through that we got our guitarist Morgan. He plays leads and rhythms, and eventually when Zach moved out after high school, he moved in with two men, Drew, the rhythm guitarist, and Hunter, the drummer. And just through that, Zach's always been a big death metal fan, so he wanted to start a band, and since he had all these components that he brought together through his history, he figured, now better than ever, right?
Mm-hmm. So you were all already playing instruments before you decided to do this, or?
Yeah, Zach, he writes riffs, and he's been playing guitar for since 7th grade, I guess, so.
Okay.
Yeah, a long time. Everyone's got their experience, yeah.
Okay, cool. So you were mentioning a little bit about what your songs are about, if you could just refresh my memory.
Well, our first tune that we ever came out with, Postmortem Prolapse, it's pretty grimy as far as the lyrics go, about
even a prolapse, that's disgusting, just in that word.
Yeah, the prolapse,
like a vaginal prolapse, I would assume.
Well, in this case it's anal.
Oh, gross.
Unfortunately on a child.
Oh, God.
Against their will, so.
Oh, my Lord. Okay. All right, so so this is your most recent album called Deterioration of Flesh. So this is an EP that you just released, or is this is it new?
It came out last year in the spring.
Okay.
And we have plans for another EP coming out either late spring or early summer this year too.
Okay, awesome. So outside of music, do you have any other interests or passions that you work on?
Besides day-to-day type part-time job stuff for us, we like to watch movies and play video games mostly.
Go on Facebook.
Go on Facebook. Waste our time as efficiently as possible.
Okay, so do you have any upcoming shows or tours planned at the moment?
We do, actually. On February 15th, we were playing at Askapunk in Nepean. It's for a birthday party show. And then later in March, we've got a few dates coming up in Montreal, Ottawa, and Quebec City.
Okay, cool. So if you can send me that information when it gets closer to the date, I'll mention it again to the listeners on the show. So I'm just going to get into the interview here. So what do you think happens to our consciousness after we die?
If I'm being completely honest, I don't think anything would really happen to it after we die.
Just like return to Earth type thing?
Yeah, it's hard to imagine not existing because, we've never thought when we're not existing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, um, it's sort of just the end.
Okay. So, what are your thoughts on reincarnation? Not really a possibility, or.
Uh, as much as I've thought about reincarnation, it's mostly to me just you know, a way to cope with loss, maybe.
Okay.
Like if you can imagine something or somebody that you liked a lot being reincarnated into something that's beautiful, like I don't know, a bird or
Mm-hmm.
an equivalent beautiful animal, then that might help someone accept the
Okay.
passing on of a person.
There's just one story I want to just tell you real quick. So there's this scientist that actually traveled all around the world and visited over 3,000 children who claimed to have past lives, and the children had scars that aligned with how the people died in the past life. They had memories of the name of their husbands and wives, where they lived, their jobs. This one woman looked just like the woman that died, that she claimed to be, and she was in love with her husband from the past life. She never got married. She was jealous of the woman that he ended up going with. So, like, how would you explain something like that happening?
Um,
It's
that'd
kind
be
of
a tough
crazy.
one for me because I haven't read into that story, but
Yeah, I only
um,
know because it's on the show, and I just had to like research it. But I just thought that was so interesting that these
mhm.
kids, they're in between the ages of 2 and 5, is when it happens the most. They have the most intense memories, and they can recall literally almost everything from the past life, right down to the address and how they died. It's kind of crazy.
Or these are from, sorry, are these from like specific cultures or
All
religions?
over the
Like,
world, like
oh,
everywhere. He traveled everywhere across the globe, basically.
I don't
So,
know, man. The world's
yeah.
a weird place.
Okay, so would you want to be immortal if you were ever given the chance to live forever?
um, I don't think so. I have enough of a hard time trying to decide what I want to do with the short amount of time I have right now. That
Mm-hmm.
trying to plan out, keeping myself busy for eternity.
Okay.
Uh,
All right, so have you ever had a near death experience before?
um, no, not personally.
Okay.
I like to play it safe.
Okay, well, that's good. So have you ever lived in a haunted house before?
uh, I haven't lived in a haunted house, but I have cousins that lived together a while back in a house, and they told me a couple of experiences that led them to believe that they thought their house was haunted.
What did they tell you?
Uh, Handprints on the ceiling that came out of nowhere that were just like dirty and like had no reason to be up there,
Whoa.
And I had a cousin that was, I believe, baking something, and he like opened up the oven and he heard a voice like right by his ear say, like, turn it off.
Hmm.
Something similar to that,
This gave me
just
chills.
hearing and seeing stuff.
Okay. So have
Yeah.
you ever seen a ghost or an apparition before, or felt something that, like you felt something was in the room but nobody was there?
Uh, well, I've actually had moments at work where I think I hear like a voice behind me,
Mm-hmm.
close, nearby, and like that sort of stuff, and I'll turn around, it'll just be like me with like no one near me, obviously. I have no explanation for that. Maybe I'm just
I've had that happen
hallucinating
before.
because of how tired I am, but
Maybe.
maybe.
Could be something totally different too.
Hmm.
Maybe there's some sort of, maybe the location's haunted where you work. You don't know. What type of work is it?
It's just warehouse work.
Okay. Okay. All
Mm.
right. So, do you think our planet is the only one in the entire universe with sentient life existing on it, or do you think that there's the possibility of life on other planets?
Yeah, definitely. Like, just uh, the universe being as large as it is, I feel like it's obviously not like 100% possible that there's something out there that's, I don't know, even similar to us, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, no, I think it's sort of Why wouldn't you want to imagine what could be out there? You know.
Yeah. So would you say that you believe in aliens and extraterrestrials or the possibility of their existence?
Uh, you mean like extraterrestrials, like
Not
just in general, or extraterrestrials like interacting with humans and stuff?
well, I think I mentioned to you before that I've seen grays on
Hmm.
two different locations, two different experiences and different times. But it's reported all over the globe, people seeing these creatures. So do you think that like it would be from a totally other planet or another dimension, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, if it's happening so much that it's all over the world and many people have mentioned it, and it's similar descriptions, why wouldn't you give it the opportunity to be a possibility to be real, at least in your head, you know?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Hmm.
So if you could have one superpower, what would it be and why?
Hmm. uh, I'm not a big superhero person, so I
Okay.
feel like it wouldn't be a something like super strength or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe um, could quick intuition count?
Yeah, that counts.
Fast ability to make decisions. That's exactly what I would want.
Sweet. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, what's the scariest thing that has ever happened to you?
Um. Hmm. Scary. Hmm.
Other than seeing my face.
Oh.
You're like, nothing tops that. That was kind of scary.
uh. I've had like an incident with my neighbors before, and it wasn't like it's more just like uh, domestic violence type stuff, and just hearing it and like
Okay.
literally like paralyzed that I couldn't move. Like I was just sitting in my bed shaking, and like
Been there.
yeah, it's
Okay.
that wasn't fun.
All right. So, what do you think is the purpose of our existence? Or do you think there is one?
I don't think there is an exact purpose. Like there's obviously the purpose to reproduce and eat and that sort of stuff, the necessities, but
Mm-hmm.
the more I think about it, um, yeah, I don't think there really is one, but I guess the purpose is to find a purpose,
Okay.
something that you can resonate with and be happy to look back on, or if not happy, at least satisfied that you did something that mattered,
That makes
at least
sense.
to you.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Okay, so if you could give any advice to upcoming musicians and artists just starting out, what would you say to them?
I would say don't be shy and get to know people because the people I know in the scene, at least, that are like the biggest are not shy. They're outgoing. They like to meet people. They like to talk and talk about music, what they're doing, what's happening in the scene. Really, just you should get involved and
Mm-hmm.
pump out as much content as possible that is good.
It's good advice. So I got two more questions for you. So how can we make our world a better place to live in?
Informing yourself on what's happening, not just on all the terrible things happening around the world, but the terrible stuff that happens in your own city. Uh, I feel like if more people focused on this, not small scale, but local issues and helped those around them, that would be a step in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in like winter months like this, like seeing people out in the cold and stuff like that. Like
For sure.
those people need help. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So is there any social media or links you would like to share with our listeners in case they'd like to reach out and contact your band or hear your music online?
Yeah. We're on Facebook. We can message or answer messages on there anytime. We've got our Bandcamp uh, page as well as our music posted on YouTube.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thanks for taking the time, Sugar. We're going to be playing your music coming up next. But I hope that you have a great night. And if you could send me those dates again, I will make sure to promote your shows on my radio show and try to get you as much exposure as possible.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Have a great night. I'll talk to you soon.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
You're tuned to the Witching Hours on CKCU 93.1 FM in Ottawa. That was Sugar from the band. It's a death metal band called Gland. And I met him while I was at the Dominion in downtown Ottawa Friday. Just decided to go. And yeah, I felt pulled to go there. And these people invited me to come sit at their table. Really nice people. And it turned out to be actually a nice night. I was pretty bored before that, so. You're tuned to the Witching Hours on CKCU 93.1 FM in Ottawa. Don't go anywhere, folks. We've got a great show coming up for you tonight. I'm your host, Kanaska, the big-headed alien Carter.